Hey everybody, Jenna K here. So I've been on kind of a journey to discover myself, and I'm going to be completely transparent here. So I'm a former therapist and I'm no longer for various reasons, and that's part of my story. And so I'm hoping that if I talk about what I'm going through, then maybe it'll resonate and make sense to everyone else, and also maybe be an inspiration to somebody else. So, there are days where I just don't want to get out of bed. There are days where I just don't really even want to wake up at all. But for some reason, here I am. So yesterday was one of those such days where I didn't really want to die necessarily, but I really didn't care so much if I woke up today. So, I reached out to some friends and talked through it, and I really do encourage people who are struggling to maybe do the same. So I have found, and I'm going to put my face on because I found that if I get up and take care of myself, wash my face, maybe put on some makeup, maybe get dressed, maybe put on some eyelashes, maybe I'll be less likely to cry, right? You can't waste good makeup, good eyelashes. So, we all have difficult times in life. And, I got my degree in psychology for one of those reasons, to understand myself and maybe help somebody else along the way. So when I talk about my story, a lot of it was difficult for me. I had originally started making some videos to try to explain it, but there was a lot of holes in my story that I just didn't even understand myself. I have a long history of trauma, a long history of post-traumatic stress, a lot of major depressive disorder, and there's a long period of my life where I couldn't, and maybe even still can't, remember a lot of the details, and it just didn't make sense to me because I'm not a dumb person, I don't think. I've made some dumb decisions looking back, but I made decisions based on what I knew at the time. And anybody with trauma can kind of maybe relate. Our brain does this wonderful, crazy, good and bad thing. It's a defense mechanism. When things are too hard, when emotions are too strong, when our mind doesn't think that we're ready or prepared to deal with some of our difficulties or our strong emotions, we have this mechanism in us that stuffs it down, right? It stuffs all that negativity down to the degree that sometimes we don't remember. And I have long periods of time where I don't remember. So part of my story and my adventure maybe has been going through and putting some of the pieces together. And, I'm a crazy lady who saves everything, right? I am... When you've been lied to as much as I have, you keep every piece of paper, you keep every photograph, you keep every email, you keep everything that will maybe be necessary in the future. And what I did this last weekend was I found a box. So, I wasn't quite ready in the past to maybe go through some of it, but I found it. So I've been going through it. Maybe that's why I've been struggling a little bit, but it has provided me a lot of detail of some things that happened that I wasn't ready to see in my past, that I wasn't ready to cope with, I wasn't ready to address. It brought to light some of the things that maybe I needed to see, but it's put a lot of the pieces together. So it occurred to me that I don't remember a lot of things, like names and how things fell into place, but some of the parts of the stories are just absurd. So I'm ready to tell the story here. I just don't know where to start. And maybe that's where you guys can help me. So I woke up today for a reason. So I'm trying to find that reason. So I figure I might as well use that time wisely. So I'm going to maybe start with the outline. Maybe start with the pieces that I know, and I might have to fill in some of the blanks later. I'm trying to find something, maybe something that'll match my outfit for my eyes. So, people who go through trauma, I'm not asking for any pity or anybody to feel sorry for me. That's where I want to start with this, because, I am accountable for my own decisions. I operated off of what I knew and what I thought I knew and tried to be the best that I could be based on that. But looking back, I should have maybe seen things that I maybe didn't see, but I can't go back and change that. You know, I'm trying to share with my children that I want to make up for the things that I have done wrong in the past. I didn't mean to overlook things. You know, I was in survival mode for a very, very long time, and that's not their fault, you know, right? So part of my distress is I should have kept them safe when I didn't. So see, here come the tears. This is what happens when you go through and you work through some stuff. Some of those emotions come to light. But you know what I've learned is if I take some deep breaths, look at where I am, remember that I'm not in danger right now. Sometimes I can work my way through it just like that. So, you know, trauma is a crazy thing, you know, and I know that because of my character defects and because of my childhood and because of a lot of things that happened to me. And I'm going to share that because, you know, I can't imagine I'm the only one in this world, especially, you know, being somebody that worked in psychology and has a degree in this and was a therapist for quite some time. I know I'm not alone. I can tell a story about someone else like no other. But when it comes to talking about my own life, that's where I struggle. So, you know, part of it is when I go through and read some of these documents that were written by someone else that tell my story, you know, I don't really even have to write my own because somebody else wrote it for me, ironically. And they were 100% accurate, daggone smart people in my life. It's easier for me to tell because I can tell it from third person. So maybe I'll do that. So I'm going to pause now and I'm going to put on some makeup and see how this goes. And with a little bit of maybe encouragement, if you guys want to hear it, I will maybe share it. If you don't, then let me know too. You know, and there's nothing you can say or comment about that I haven't already told myself. You know, be rough. I don't care. You know, say bad things. Tell me I'm a liar. I don't care. I've already heard it all before. But what I know about myself is I'm not a liar. Right? I tell the truth from my perspective, and I hope that, you know, if you're interested, you'll watch. If you aren't interested, you won't. But my story is my own, and it's time for me to tell it. Thanks.